So we calling this the pilot.
Yeah, this is definitely the pilot for the Loco Show. Lois and Marco. This shit is crazy,
I
nigga.
love it that way, the Loco Show.
Nigga, that shit is crazy, nigga. This shit is crazy. It's crazy, son.
Word to mother.
Word to mother with a V.
With a V. With a capital V shot.
When you been to New York?
Bro, the night I got off the road. I got my Camaro. November 19th. 2013. Right?
Okay, hold on, introduce this, pop this off. What up, though? This your boy Lowe's up in the building, trying to do good things for the women and children. That's my call sign. Holla at your boy. Welcome to the Loco Show. It's me and my boy Ace and the whole Marco West. What's up? What's good, my brother?
What's the deal, big baby?
Oh man, we're just trying to make good in the hood and make sure that we get the good information out and rock out with a cock show. So you was going on.
That's how we rock it out.
Well, not, you know, technically, it's more on a technical term, but
I understand, but I'm with it. I'm technically with it.
Oh, you know what? This can actually be. I could send this to Facebook too as well, but they can come in to us. But so this is the pilot. You know what I'm saying? This is the pilot for our show. We did a pre-show. Before that shit was blowed. We was fucking blowed.
Yeah, so I like that title for it too, a pre-show. That was a pre-pilot. That was the show we did to decide whether or not we was not if we was gonna do it, because no matter how that turned out,
it was out there. That shit was out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here like, nigga, this shit was fucking. It was crazy. That shit was,
and we kept on talking about how. I don't even think that was the plan, though.
Yeah, I think we was running a test.
We was testing equipment, right? We was
to see what the sound sound like.
Doing a whole show. I think we was on that mic for an hour and some change.
So yeah, that was dope. You know, and I guess the show right here, I wanted to, you know, with the pilot, kind of what is it? What we gonna be doing in a sober sense? You know?
Okay, well, speak for yourself in that sense, because I can't.
Well, I'm just saying, in the morning, I can't get blowed in the morning. You know, I'm trying to be healthy a little bit.
Sometimes my high is contingent upon my state of being. It ain't always because I've been intoxicated, because sometimes this life had me blowed.
I mean, sometimes you need to. Sometimes your ass need to be blowed just to manage and maintain in this foolishness.
Young boy Ray say he smoke a pound of every day.
So you smoke a pound.
That's just how he have to cope with life.
Well, okay, that sound about right to me.
Yeah, I don't need a pound of marijuana, but sometimes a pound of rest and relaxation.
What you know what? A pound of anything. What the fuck kind of weed you smoking? If you need a pound of
every
it,
day.
If you need a pound of
that
anything,
rapper weed.
Hell yeah, nigga, or that's nigga that weed that's NFL effective.
Oh well, see, if he's smoking a pound of it, maybe you know he's still up and coming, so maybe he ain't buying the rapper weed yet. Maybe he buying the rapper in training weed right
Oh my God, yeah, that starter weed. Weed with a kickstand. He got that weed that you need some help, support, a struggle weed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This what the Reggie's back in the 70s.
Oh man, listen. Reggie was my guy for a minute though. There's a time when me and Reggie was tight like hallways.
Tight as patio's, two sides of small.
Divided we stand. United we fall.
Oh man.
So listen, man, on this podcast, some of the things that we're gonna be talking about and sharing with y'all are our life experiences, growing up in the city, relationships, politics, you name it. Our goal is to bring the truth about our culture into the mainstream. Excuse me. And you know, sometimes that's gonna be based with a lot of factual information, and other times, I mean, real talk is just gonna be us talking.
Right.
I'm sharing
definitely
our
life experiences.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. This is about getting the thoughts and ideas that we have out here, so that for the most part we have a better understanding as a whole of what we really expecting. You know, I'm watching the launch of all of these new platforms, discussing relationships, and I'm loving the energy, and I think it's doing a lot for the culture. But of course I have my own opinion about how some of these things should be done, and so instead of critiquing them, we gonna do our own thing.
Absolutely, definitely give our own take, because we definitely got our own perspective as far as relationships concerned, because we've been through so much. You know what I'm saying? We've been through. We have kids, and we have women that was fucking tripping. You know what I'm saying? That we had to fucking get rid of. Yeah. Marriages. That shit. I ain't gonna lie. My damn girl. I came home and all my shit was gone. My kids, my money, my fucking furniture. Everything, all of that shit was gone.
Did she take your shoes?
She left me a bed, a computer, and a TV that she just couldn't move. She couldn't move. And you know what?
Well, at least you didn't come home. I got a homeboy that came home and everything was there except for all his right shoes.
Oh, pettiness. Oh, she was doing the petty. She took the shoes.
All of his right shoes, man. I didn't understand it.
You know what, man? It's funny. My story.
She never gave them back.
Now that's bullshit. So she had to start all over with his shoes, getting brand new shoes. I think
he told me it was 20 something, maybe 30 something pair of shoes that he had. I think it was all lefts.
All lefts.
I think she took all of his right shoes. I do believe. When you go in the store, which one is the display? They display the left, don't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so, because most of them shoes are kind of facing this way.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the display. They use the one that give it the one, whichever one it is.
She was probably smart enough to know that. That's one of the advantages of being a shopper. So she know which one to take.
Speaking from a relationship perspective, we always hear hypergamy, right? Yeah. And with the hypergamy, it's always the bigger and better deal. How much better can I do for my life than what you can provide for me? Don't get me wrong. Because I was always a worker. After I was always a hustler. Mm-hmm. Then I became a worker, and I translated that hustle into the workforce, right. And then it did good for me because I don't quit. And then I was doing not too bad. I wasn't doing too bad. I was in manufacturing after I got out the bean. And then I, put in a lot of hours, and I met my significant other. And then we did to begin to level up and grow. And sure enough, we had a house in Detroit. Then I'm in my 20s. Bought my first house at 25. Then bought a second house. So we got two houses, one in Southfield, one in here. When Southfield meant something.
That was a stake.
That was a fucking long time ago. But
that was back when we had the idea that the goal was to be successful, and to be successful means that you moved across 8 Mile.
Right, at that time, across 8 Mile meant something.
And if you was in the auto industries, that was me. Get in the Ford, Chrysler, GM, and move across 8 Mile, and you made it.
Life has begun to take off. So okay, fast forward. As we leveled up, hard times hit. Nigga, I ended up losing my job, and that right there was a hit. We had to take a hit as a family, but then we had to tighten up our belts. We couldn't do shit like we wanted to do them all the time. So, whatever happens, we was heavy in the church. I was a follower. I was definitely that. Hey, look, fellas. If you can't lead your family, don't fucking be there. If you can't, because if you're not a leader, and if you're not someone that can be, lead, if you don't have the fortitude that's in you to lead your family, you might not want a relationship at all. Hey, if you can't be the head of your family, and that means providing, protecting, and being a source, a resource,
available, right? And that resource is not always about finance or defense, because young people need guidance, and you have to be. Think about it like this: when did you become a parent? Was it at conception of the child, at birth of the child, or when the child started telling you what the hell they needed? At what stage do us as the reproducers of these seeds become parents? What would you say for you? When did you
personally? When I didn't know anything about anything. I made a mistake at 8, when I was young.
At 8?
teen.
Oh,
you know,
I'm about to say, damn, homie.
I made a mistake when I was young.
We never talked about that.
And was forced. I was catapulted into parentship, and I didn't know.
So listen, though. My question to you is mentally, because remember, so in our minds, or in society minds, or culturally, you become a parent when that baby get here.
Technically, right. Absolutely.
From a male perspective, it's pretty much when that baby get here. No matter if you now ready I got or not, to get going. Because if it was up to us, we wouldn't do no shopping or none of that shit till the baby got here.
Right.
All of that baby shower shit, that's women smart enough to know that this shit need to be done in advance. We wait till the baby get here, tell me what it is. You don't have to tell me beforehand what it's gonna be. So culturally, parenting from male perspectives come when it's time to start doing. From a female perspective, it's from the moment she finds out that she's not carrying that baby, because she got to adjust her diet, her habits.
Well, when she knows, right, that's when she becomes, the parent, because she got to make those arrangements, make the necessary arrangements.
Now here's the thing:
for the baby to get here safely.
Right. Now here's the thing, right? We know that there are some women who choose to keep partying, keep smoking, keep drinking, keep dropping it like it's hot, even when it's lukewarm.
God damn it, bitch! You know what you did? You caused me, my son, because your ass wanted to be you and Miller's. Man, you know what? And I let the shit go because I didn't know. My son's mother was getting it in all the way up until, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know the defects, because he ended up with some issues with his head. And I can't say that was because I don't know what God had for my son, but because of the fact that you didn't change, you cigarette smoking, beer drinking, raggedy bitch. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I thank you for giving them to me, sir. I'm just only kidding. This is for podcast purposes. I appreciate the fact that she got him here to me.
No doubt.
So I'm saying. So that was just.
But we do. But again, that is the perfect example of parenting being a choice.
Yeah.
You have to decide at some point that you go be that. So from a male perspective, when you make that decision, you need to understand that it's not just about paying the bills and making sure don't nobody fuck with your family. It's not just that, because that young man needs to be taught what it means to be a man in this society, not just in your head or in your heart, but what it means to be a male in this society based on their ethnicity, their class. All of those things matter.
Yeah.
So like you said, as somebody who's going to lead the family, you have to be prepared to take the time to prepare these children for what it is they going to need to be successful.
Well, that's absolutely. But in the same token, understanding and knowing what to do. But if you have never seen it, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't never seen it, how can you do it? So a lot of that stuff is trial and error.
No. I 100% disagree. A lot of it, my ass, all of it is trial and error. Because here go the thing. When you and Vanessa came together and reproduced that first child, y'all were in a particular place. And a lot of people lose sight of this. We are looking at these children as something that comes from somewhere else. And like a stork dropped them off for real. Right. But what we're losing sight of is that these children are actually reproductions of us. These are photocopies. These and a lot of people forget this, or some don't know it. That cells carry memory. Yeah. So when people say that goofy ass shit, that baby been here, the baby been here before. Yeah, the baby is a copy of something. Yeah. So as a parent, my job is to take this recreation of me that I blended with somebody else and get it to a certain stage. Yeah. So when you and Vanessa reproduced, when y'all were right there, y'all produced who y'all were at that moment. The moment that reproduction was done and y'all begin to continue to evolve and grow, y'all became different people. So if y'all reproduce again, y'all are gonna reproduce a different version of yourself. Right. So we in different stages. You're saying different stages of understanding where you are in life, which means your mental and physical capacity is going to reproduce a little bit different product. If I draw on a page and I put it on my copier and I make a copy of it and I open that copier up and I put a line on that, it's just changed.
Yeah, it's modified.
If I make another copy, because it grew, it changed, evolved. If I'm drawing a picture and I start with the circle, if I want to copy the stages of it, each stage carries an addition to the past.
Right. And I honestly, even just on a footnote on, as far as men and women, Men, see your son be born. Your life is different after that. I've never known, because we was grown up, when we was brought up hard, right? We was brought up to be tough, and stuff like that. I actually saw that thing come out of that thing, and then my eyes was like, damn, that thing is big.
She been lying to me all this time.
I'm like, you ruined it. I ain't never gonna be.
We'll never be cool.
he done ruined it. But I gotta say, I've never cried like that besides somebody being dead, somebody in my family dying, than when I saw my son.
So Marco
being
Jr., I was there for Marco Jr.'s birth. My son above him, I wasn't there. I didn't have the opportunity to be in the room when he was born. But Junior, I was there. I refused to cut the umbilical cord, though.
That shit is scary.
Well, it wasn't.
That shit was scary to me.
So this is what I told his auntie, his great aunt. When she told me, she said, well, you supposed to do that. I said, well, I understand that, that's tradition. But in my mind, my mind is a little different. I said, in my mind, I'm going to be the one separating him from his mama. If I cut that cord. So I ain't go, y'all cut the cord and then hand him to me. How about that? Y'all cut the cord.
You responsible. Right. I don't want to take responsibility for separating him from his mama.
Absolutely. But that culture, the culture of parenting has changed, man. And I think that's, again, one of the things that we're going to be talking about heavily, because, all of my teachers in my nonprofit, me going into the classroom, my life coaching clients, my narrative is the same. You know what I'm saying? And that's us getting to the truth of our own understanding and to build from that. Dude,
and the truth without fluff. That's the key. It's so much fluff. A lot of you motherfuckers is really lying for nothing, trying to create narratives that don't even match with what's in reality. You know what I'm saying? But I really hate liars, in the sense that I need to get, I need to market myself. Therefore, I'm gonna create a narrative or an image that's untrue. Just so people can get them right. Yeah, the truth will do. Don't lie when the truth is okay. The truth will
absolutely do for the person that you want to be with.
Yeah,
the truth is enough.
And eventually the motherfucking truth gonna come out.
Anyway,
it's gonna come out, and then you're gonna be looking like a buffoon for bringing lies to people that you're trying to
how about
create a bond with.
How about this mindset? And I'm just talking to the guys for a second, right? Because we the bad cheaters. The girls cheat, they just better at the shit than us. So we the bad cheaters. So how about this, guys? If y'all tired of getting accused of being a cheater, how about you tell her up front you're not interested in monogamy?
Oh, man. And that's, that's funny.
And the first few, I can't say the first few, but you go get some no's. You gonna get a lot of no's. A lot of females are not gonna be interested in it. But guess what? The one that's cool with you being that way is gonna say yeah. And that's gonna be the one you should choose to be with, because at the end of the day, and this is speaking from my own experience. When I have lied in the past to get a woman, I resented my damn self. I did, because there's definitely some guilt, and I resented her more than I resented me. You know why I resented her?
Why?
Because I felt like I got a lie to be with you. Who the hell is you? The fuck I got the lie with.
You know what? I was watching a podcast where the guy said women push monogamy, right, more than men. You should be monogamous, in general, especially if you're in a relationship. But women push it more so, push monogamy, and even want to be married and so on. But in the same token, they say, okay, I don't want you to mess with nobody else. Therefore, I'm going to be everything you need, sexually, spiritually. You don't got to go out and go get nothing else from nobody else. And I'll be able to provide that for you. But still, when it's time, and if I don't feel like it, I won't do it.
Yeah, most women are not built for that. Like you said early on, not just most women, but most of us are not built for that. And I can say that, thank God I've transitioned past that stage, and I remember being in that stage.
I remember that too. I mean, it's
for the most part,
where that was a necessity.
Our relationship mode is horrible. The divorce rate in this country is 60%, 50% in the church, and the church does not agree with marriage at all. I mean, with divorce and marriage at all. So if that's the case, we have a mold that we are patterning our relationship behind that has a 50% failure rate in the church. Let's
minimum. That's starting point.
So that means that my relationship at the beginning has a chance of a coin flip of failing or succeeding. I might get the heads. I might end up on ass with tails, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is going into the relationship. So if that's the case, then why would I pattern my relationship after a mold that I already know puts me in a position to fail? So when I say be upfront about what it is you want, because the demand is there for monogamy. The demand is there to be a husband, and people are dating with the intent of getting to relationships. And for me, that's ass backwards.
I know, honestly, I think more men are doing that than women right now because of this hot girl summer, because of this, because it's Megan Thee Stallion. I can't stand the fact that you putting into these easily influence young ladies' heads that it's okay to be promiscuous, and then go out and sow your royal oats, and then think that because you used up, you still deserve, a high value man.
You want the same value.
You want the same value when your stuff been used up.
They want men who perform traditional roles for women who have not held themselves in a traditional state.
Don't nobody
woman who's been, I don't care if I have no problem with even marrying a woman who's been married 3-4 times. At least I know with her that she's transitioned from serious commitment to serious commitment, as opposed to jump off to jump off. And again, understanding, acknowledging, and being honest that our society holds us a double standard in that. But I can't say that I disagree with the standard, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
Whether we want to acknowledge it. And I'm not talking about culturally. You can take the opinions out of it, and it is completely different sexually for a man and a woman.
Absolutely.
They make the reference. Why do you think they make the reference of us as dogs? Because a male dog, when he mates, he ain't looking to do nothing but reproduce. He's driven to reproduce his seed. And they say that we remind them of that. Maybe that's why a dog is a man's best friend. But culturally, the behavior is considered acceptable because women in their mind already believe that men are going to do it. However, they require that you say that you'll be monogamous, although they say in the back, I knew you was going to cheat.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you knew I was going to cheat, why did you ask me to be monogamous? Why didn't you just tell me to tell you when I was going to fuck around? Why not?
Yeah, and if monogamy is the key, which it should be the key, because I agree, because I'm never, I've always been a one woman type of person. Don't get me wrong, I had a couple, but I wasn't with them when I was with my significant other. Right. You know what I'm saying? And once we locked it down, I was done. But through whatever reason
but you had gotten to that mental place where, like you said, you felt like, and that's what successful relationships have. They have that air of completeness. If you are getting with somebody because you feel like in the long run they go complete you, then I think that's the wrong time. I'm not gonna say it's the wrong person, but I think it's the wrong time. But if, like you said, you sitting across from that individual and you feel complete with them as they are right now, then I think that's cool to make that move. But if I'm sitting with you and we walking together and you feeling fucked up and I'm feeling fucked up, ain't no need us multiplying that by 2. Right. You fucked up and I'm fucked up don't mean we got a way to work it out together.
But I do know a lot of times you don't know that you fucked up right in that time. Because I know something, because I thought I was good. Only thing that I knew was to work.
Right.
Work, and you're a good man. Yeah. That always don't make you a good man.
That don't never make you.
It's a good requirement.
It's one of the requirements. It's one of those things that you have to provide, because I know a couple dudes that ain't never had a job, but they keep a clean car and a nice house, but never worked a job. This guy's.
No, I'm just kidding.
This guy, what we would call a shade tree mechanic. Since I was a kid, and I'm 50, so I don't even know where his money coming from now, because he ain't worked on cars in a minute. But you know what I'm saying. So But that's because, again, it requires more than just that. Life is not just about finances and security. It's about growth. It's about, because, again, we go put in all the hours we need and bring home the money. Then if you too tired to spend any time with her, somebody go spend it with her. She got to have something to do with that time.
It definitely has to be a balance.
Absolutely.
It definitely have to be a balance. And if you can't provide that balance, then, there's going to be stress or strain, and something may break. And it may break, you might be able to bounce back, but some shit is gonna have to give if there's an imbalance in the situation that needs it.
My last wife told me that I was present but not present, and I told her ass that I wasn't present because she wasn't paying attention. In hindsight, after I took the time to figure out what she was talking about, I understood what she was saying. Because we didn't have certain conversations. It didn't matter how great we were as individuals. People, if you've ever followed me, know me, or take the time to look at my social media in the past, from my last marriage, you'll see that we burnt the damn world down. We was everywhere doing everything.
Yeah, I saw y'all. Y'all was rocking out. Y'all was rocking. But I mean, I'm talking about when y'all moved, Well,
see, the thing about it was, the business aspect of what we was doing, the healing part for others, we was a fucking monster.
Force, talking to people, but giving them the information. But that didn't translate
into the success of the relationship.
I was wondering, was that because there was two heads in a relationship?
Yeah.
Anything that got two heads is a monster.
Yeah. And listen, you can't put it better than that. And so, and also, not understanding my role in what she needed, in a way that allowed me to continue to do what I needed. That we had projects
right
lined up that I pushed to the side, so
we
that
had a bunch of shit lined up,
so that you could help focus on her stuff.
Right.
Put all my stuff aside.
I remember that.
Books. We did all of that. Right.
Yeah.
And I did that because I was okay with waiting, because that was my lady. So I was cool. Okay, listen, let's go and push this through, Los. I need you to get whatever you need to put behind her to make this happen. And I didn't have the extra money to stand behind that part. I put it together. And I'll say she's an absolute force, in finding a way to get things done when there is no way. Yeah. She found a way to get you your bread, because I ain't pay for it. I didn't. Right. I didn't pay for it. She figured out a way to get, but I was okay with making that connection, knowing that, it wouldn't have cost me nothing but my time for us to push our product.
Exactly.
And I appreciate you. I'll forever appreciate you for that, because that project wasn't just my project. It was our projects. And you was gracious enough to allow your love for me and our history to accept putting a project that was just as much yours as mine to the side, to focus on something else that was important to me. So in my mind, I was doing what I was supposed to for her, because at every event, every situation that we faced, I stood in the gap and did what I believe was needed to do. But yet and still, for her, that didn't translate into what she actually needed.
Right.
And I didn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I talk about dating with the intent of getting into a relationship is a bad move. You have to date people with the intent of getting to know who they are, so that y'all can figure out how y'all actually fit together.
So there's levels. That's what you're saying. There's definitely levels.
And
so
they all
before you
have
go
to
the
be
end goal,
it's like that old Bruce Lee movie where he had to fight his way up the tower. Yeah, it wasn't no skipping floors. You had to deal with everything and some of those levels we skipped.
You know what? One of my major issues was when I get into a relationship after I dealt with with my significant other before, who's a great mother to my kids, my 3 kids' mom. She's a wonderful woman and gets shit done no matter what. So I tip my hat off to her. It wasn't, it just didn't work out. Right. That's all that was. I can't say nothing good or bad. I could say a bunch of shit, but I'm not.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm not. But we
those things don't really matter.
But she's a wonderful mama. I'm saying I cannot lie. Very emotional. But in our relationship, when anything that came after that, I really need to know how you are when you're angry. How is it that you handle conflict resolution? And if I don't know that we won't work out. That shit will not work out. And the reason why is because what if you hit me, then call the police and I'm going to jail, because women are as violent as men at times. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't
at times.
She wasn't,
It ain't at times. Women are always violent. Even if they don't act on the violence, the shit that be going on in their head is way more graphic than us.
They be wanting to do shit to our cars, our bodies. You hit us with a brick while we sleep.
Imagine what that key would do to your ass if you was laying there. Somebody said me, in one of my chat groups, my Camaro club, the Elite Crew, shout out to the Elite Camaro crew, and somebody has sent the link, and I scrolled the link, and somebody had a post out like, look what she did to my baby because she thought I was cheating. She, for the 5th time, accused me of something. Oh, she didn't cut the dude's seats. Who the hell has the patience to take a key and scratch it? I'm talking about, she looked like she was trying to take the paint off a dude's car. She wasn't just trying to
dig a whole hole. She'd have had a drill.
She was trying to sandblast it with a key, man.
Oh man,
that kind of irritation and aggravation, man, that's built up. But that comes from people not having the right kind of foundations for their relationships, where you can go to somebody and
even understanding how they react. Because sometimes if you don't know, and then I counsel. I talk to some young bucks, and I'm saying, and they be going back and forth because, you're not as wise or you're not as stoic, in your relationship. You don't have patience, because you want to combat every issue. You think every issue or every angerment deserves some type of comeback. If you say something, it's okay to be quiet and right at the same time. It's okay for that. It's okay to let, for the sake of peace in your house, because most men really just want peace, a little loving, a little food. We simple in that respect. So, when I let them know, I'm like, look, when you're dealing with your significant other, and when she talked, it's okay to just turn around and walk away. Absolutely. Believe it or not, that I won my relationship in that by not being combative and going back and forth, because two people can't argue when only one person is talking.
And at the end of the day, to get your point across, you have to be able to understand what the other person is talking about. You can't combat a point if you going, so the lesson I learned, and again, I can accredit this to my last marriage, to Crystal. She used to say, you got to learn to listen to understand. And I'm like, hey, listen, I don't forget nothing. I heard everything you said, and you can't tell me I ain't heard or understood, because I got it. You know what I'm saying?
What did I just say? Well, it don't matter. It wasn't good.
I could tell her everything she said verbatim. But that didn't mean that I didn't understand, that I understood it, because what I realized in the seed that she planted, that what she was saying was that you have to learn to listen with the intent to understand what the person is trying to point out. Right. As opposed to trying to listen to what the person is saying so that you can have a winning response. See, I was trying to win. Man. And it wasn't just with her. This is how I had trained to be in my life.
And once you get past communication, believe it or not, once you get past the fact that I'm listening, now I'm talking through you, because I need to beat this point into your head so that I can win. So I'm past listen to come to some type of resolution. Right. I want to win now. Yep. Now that's how I want to win. Women are better than that than us. Yeah. Women are way better than that, because they can do some shit. Because
they be saving, and they be saving shit too.
Remember when you used to pee in the bed back when you was all the way up to you? I told you that confidence. You swore you would never. Yeah, I said shit. Let me tell you, mine was stored up and archived. Yeah, that's a weapon. I'm gonna use that shit as soon as he say something out the way.
We can't hold shit. Your homeboy tell me I seen your girl over her sister's house talking to her ex-boyfriend. We can't hold that shit in to save it. Yeah, as soon as you could. So, do you want some chicken, baby? Yeah. So what was you doing with that nigga?
You can have it in your mind. I ain't gonna say nothing right away.
I'm gonna save it. You told her. Don't tell her today, because if she tell her today, she gonna know I told you. You know what I'm saying?
Then you be like, all right, I got you, man. I got you. And bring that shit right up.
We built different. But that's another one of those things that acknowledge that male and females are different. And when people start accepting that going into these relationships, they can stop trying to hold people to a standard of what it is they expect, and allow people to be who they are, and then decide whether or not it's what you're willing to accept. I tell women, constantly. Don't tell no nigga or no man or no whatever it is you dating, whatever your field is. If you're looking for a high quality man, you're looking for a thug, a street dude, a nigga, whatever it is you looking for, don't tell him what you looking for. Don't tell, because if you tell me that, I'm gonna become that.
Yeah, instead of being yourself, and you can't keep up a lie because eventually you're gonna
get tired
yourself.
of pretending because
you gotta be yourself.
That resentment is gonna grow. Why I got to pretend to be somebody else just to keep you? So now, even though all she did is express it, and I chose to take on the mantle and make these moves myself, in my mind, she laid out the list and told me what I had to be. And basically, if I wasn't willing to be these things, that I couldn't be with her. And, you know, most men are not comfortable with loss. You know what I'm saying? And we are conquerors. So if you give me a roadmap to the cookie, hell, I'm gonna follow the crumbs.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll follow some instructions.
But if you want to protect the cookie from a cookie monster, do just a cookie monster, then stop leaving him a damn trail. Let him show you who he is. Decide for yourself whether or not you will. You like that cookie monster?
Analogy is wild.
Right. But if you allow him to show you, or her, vice versa, allow people to show you who they are. Stop requiring a woman to be this and be that. Keep on telling her all she need to do is learn how to cook and spread her legs.
And a lot
of
all
she ever do.
Just listen. Just
let people be who they are and decide whether or not that works for you. Because the thing about it is, if I have to tell you who I need you to be, if me and you being together and you don't conform to me and I don't conform to you, it means we don't fit. If we don't get to the point to where we can actually mesh and connect, it's because we don't mesh or connect.
Facts.
If I have to tell you what to do at every step of the stage in order for us to connect, if you do this, I had a young lady, and I'm gonna keep this short, but I dated her off and on when I was young. Okay. But she never gave me the title of boyfriend. Right? Even though we did all the boyfriend, girlfriend stuff. Mm-hmm. Her family, she came from money. Her two older brothers were college graduates.
I know that sound.
Right.
So you know who you are. Because we was let's go ahead.
She used to. She never dogged me, but she used to do shit like she would treat me like I was her man, but then go do single shit. Right? While I'd stay the course, and then I'd be like, "What's up with?" And she'd be like, "Well, why that's bothering you, friend?"
Friend.
Oh yeah,
just like that. If we friends,
and I'd be like, "Yeah, you right? No, I ain't bothering me. You ready to go?" Type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I would pull up and she would be dealing with somebody, and you know, she never disrespect. All right, I'll talk to you later. And she would come get in the car with me and we would leave or whatever. It was, so she never played me to the left, but in the same token, she stayed single. So we got to a state later on in life. I'm an old man. I'm between marriages. I'm pretty much single. And she contacts me and tells me how she's now single and we should get together. And I'm like, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea. What's up with you? And she says to me, well, if you do these, hold on. I got to do me being me ain't enough. Then I'm not in that place no more. I'm not that adolescent dude who was looking for acceptance from a pretty girl. She was gorgeous. So for me, whatever I had to do to get the pretty girl was good enough. Right. It was cool. That was acceptable behavior. So when she came back into my life later and I had grown and evolved, and I probably owe her an apology. I do owe her an apology because I do, no, for real. Because when she cut into me, I gave her all of that stored up shit that I say males normally don't have. Right. Yeah, for years, you know, she had kind of played it that way. So when she came back, and she said that, well, if you was willing to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and do this and do that and do that, we can get married right away. And I say, so first of all, how you know how me and Jesus get down? How you know I ain't already accepted him, rock with? How you know I ain't just hang up from him when you called? Right. You didn't ask a question. You just telling me what I need to do to get you. I didn't even call you. I didn't reach out to you for no relationship. You called me, flirting with me, telling me how you realize that I'm not single and how we should now get together. But then you got a list of what I need to do. And that would have been cool if she had a list, or at least, you got a list for me? She didn't ask if I had a list. She just and it instantly put in my mind that, man, it's that expectation of another person becoming what you think you want them to be. But here's the thing: if I liked you enough to want to be with you, and I had nothing to do with who you are, why the hell should I try to change?
That should be the person. You know, a lot of time I know most men get with women expecting them not to change. And most women get with men expecting them to be who they want them to be in the long run. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm gonna mold him. And the truth is, and I can't remember the scripture, but if I'm not mistaken, God gave woman to man to be molded to him. And to mold doesn't mean to break and attach. Right, it means to allow it to fit comfortably into the spots
to help meet the goal, whatever it is that's being needed. You know, as far as the family. You know, so they, like they say, it's supposed to be to help me. You know, and to help me meet this goal, I'm gonna need this, and that. You know, not being telling them what to do so much as it is conveying the information of what's needed to make this family work right.
And that's what did Kevin Samuels call it? Rest in peace, big bro. He said, submission is nothing but polite cooperation.
Yeah, and most of it, believe it or not, that's such a triggering word to some people when the majority of it is just respect.
That's it. Well, it's because the people have used words as weapons for so long that the word ignorant, it means I don't know.
Yeah.
But people use it in a way that makes it offensive to be called ignorant. So you ignorant to the fact. That means so you not knowing. You don't have it. If I say,
and it could be true. Like you don't know.
But the way that words are used, they're used as weapons. So when people say certain things, people's ears and shit turn off.
Yeah, man. They figure, it's an attack. And when you feel attacked, a lot of times, you go all past rationality of what the meaning of the word is, they're gonna go into defense mode.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that being said, I know you probably got to roll out.
Yeah, we getting there.
So
but we good. We ain't cutting out yet. We ain't finished.
Oh, cool. I was
No, we got another 15 minutes or so. I can shoot straight down the field, y'all. See, this is the problem. This is the problem we gonna have with y'all, because we want to shut up, stop talking, but we know y'all ain't ready for us to. So we gonna give y'all another 5 minutes.
Some of this information, yeah.
But on that point, I do want to say that I think that the biggest failure in our relationships is our failure to be willing to do our own thing. Everything looks the same. Every relationship is based on the same criteria. Everybody's trying to hold a partner to standards that, first of all, and I must say, this is our attempt to inject our personal belief into the culture.
Right.
This is an absolute invasion into y'all mindset. This is an attempt to sway y'all, to convince y'all, to lead y'all out of the darkness. This is we let it be. Like, listen, which one? This one right here?
Yeah, that's you. That's you.
We not trying to leave you where we find you. So the information that we give and the perspectives that we give come from a clear head. Even if I've been smoking or even if I've been drinking, trust and believe that this information is meant to move us from one place to the other. So when we talk about things like dating and relationships and our experiences and how these things played out, and when we speak of the women in our lives, I'm not sitting across from a disrespectful man. I know that when he was saying what he was saying about his ex, that there was a truth with a whole lot of jokey joke in there, because he's a man who respects women, and the women in his life know it, and so I know that he would have never said anything on camera that would have got his ass shot up. With that being said, we also want to be honest and clear about the things that we know through experience. I've talked to hundreds, dare I say thousands of males about their perspective, young and old, in relationships, and females as well. In fact, I've coached more females than I have males one-on-one. And the truth of the matter is, nobody is really being fulfilled because nobody is able to actually express the truth of what they experience. And you touched on that early, because how can you do what you haven't seen done?
Oh man, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as a man, how do I lead my household when there was no man to lead my household? No, my stepfather was there and he did what he could, but I mean, his job kept him from being there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't have the balance, and he grew up with a father. Went to the military at 18, came back and never stopped being a warrior.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And so
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Good man. He was a good man. I remember him come teaching up at our school up at freaking Stratford.
Green Beret, man.
We was
fourth degree black belt, a police reserve, a bodyguard for Ron Banks in the Dramatics. I mean, this guy was, he was a man's man. And so I never seen him as anything less than that. He never treated me as anything less than a son. But in the same token, as an adult parent, I wouldn't want his pattern or his parenting style to be what I pass on.
Right.
Because I know he used to have a saying, and then we better draw this to a close, but he used to have this saying where he would tell us that I would run through hell with gasoline drawers on. That's how much I love y'all. He used to tell me and my older brother that. And that's because of who I knew this man to be, like when he said that, I could picture this dude put those some gas-soaked drawers, setting them on fire and running into hell to come and get us.
See, and that was a good, and I didn't get it. All the while, I had no idea that that was a stepfather.
Yeah, because there was no indication of that.
Never, not ever.
But again, with all of that love that man had for us, it did not translate into the information that I needed to help me be a more rounded individual. So it isn't a lack of love. Again, you can make the decision to be the parent because he stepped up. My stepfather stepped up when my biological father stepped off.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? The block I grew up on, which was around the corner from you, we was there for 48 years. My mother still resided there 48 years. Man. And she moved in that house when I was 2 years old, and he been there since I was 2 years old.
What's that, 72?
74. I moved there in 72. I mean, I was born in 72. We moved there in 74 when I was 2 years old.
I remember. We was on cruise in 70. I think 71. I think we moved over on cruise in 71, and I went to Stratford, and then that's when all the way up into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So it's just a matter of us being able to realize, that the truth we've been showed and told is an old truth. We didn't get to vote on the culture. We didn't get to decide whether these rules and regulations that we have built our relationships on over decades. We didn't get to vote and determine whether it was healthy or good or whether we had no input, is what I'm saying, in the culture that we received. That shit has been handed down. And if we continue to keep doing that, man, it's gonna keep being some bullshit. So at some point we're gonna have to stop passing the ball and get it more rounded and then make a better pass. Because, like you said, you can't take somebody somewhere you ain't been.
Exactly. And up to this point, we've been through a lot of motherfucking places, so therefore we can share that information. Man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a firm believer is you should be, a value added to those that's coming up behind you. You know what I'm saying? And I know some of these youth feel that they've been left. You know what I'm saying? Left to fend for themselves. And I do want to be the beacon of hope for those that's coming up behind us. And if we can represent some semblance of change, or some like a lighthouse and a tower in a sea of darkness, and which is over in our hood, man, it is dark than a motherfucker, man. That hood is dark. And I do want to go back and even to that particular neighborhood and reach out to a few people that's still not only still living there, but to let people know, look, we went through this rocky terrain that you guys are going through now, and let me tell you, you can make it out. You can be something. You can be somebody.
Get across 8 Mile.
You can.
you can still.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be across 8 Mile if it wasn't for my girl.
I'm just talking about theoretically.
But I know that theoretically,
you can mentally still cross 8 Mile, man. You can mentally still make it to those goals and those milestones, man. The era of hopelessness is what we have to get rid of, man. Coming back and forth to the city for that 8 years that I lived in Arkansas, I promise you, man, when I would get to that pure Michigan sign coming off of 75 out of Ohio, I promise you, man, there were times when I went from listening to Calvin Richardson or Anthony Hamilton and had to put on some fucking Tupac.
Oh yeah,
or some DMX just to shift my mind. Like, I'm okay. You about to ride into the city. I'm in Michigan now, but I'm headed to Detroit, and I got to get my mind because the city moves on
it's differently. Vibrate at a different frequency.
And the bad thing about it, as horrible as it is to say it, as much as I love my city, if they catch you slipping, they gonna leave you where they find you.
Man, so don't be where you don't need to be when you don't need to be there. Trust me.
When you need to be there,
make sure you there. Take advantage.
Jesus, try to be there briefly as you can.
Well, yeah, you got to move swiftly. You know what I'm saying? You got to move swiftly and strategically, especially, you know, in the streets of Detroit. And I'm a firm believer that, don't get me wrong, like perfect example over there, because I used to live briefly over there off of Dexter and Tuxedo, right? What the YBI used to coin.
No, you did.
Yes, I did. I lived right there. When I got out,
because I lived on Dexter and Tuxedo.
I was, you know, the basketball court right there on Dexter and Tuxedo. I lived 4 houses off of the basketball court, so it's like 4 family flats.
What year?
I got out in 91. I got out in 90 to 92.
Okay,
92. I was in there 92 to 9 because they was at the
96.
end.
So you remember Brian? They owned the store on Midland. Remember the little store?
LaSure, Midland and LaSure.
Right. So they owned a 2-family flat on Dexter, and I moved off of. I had my 2 baby mamas living in that 2-family flat.
Yeah, we was 4
upstairs and 1 downstairs.
Yeah,
but that was 96.
It was 2 downstairs.
That was 96, 97 though. So but that's crazy. We never talked about.
And I'm saying that, and the reason why I'm saying that is because having to move swiftly and knowing where you can be and where you can't be at the times you can be there. Like perfect example, if you're on the basketball court, you know, at the basketball court, they had some of the dopest games ever. However, if some shit popped off, make your way home. Make your way to the motherfucking house because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you kind of do know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
as soon as it get heated, it's gonna get hot.
It's gonna. So yeah, as soon as you say, "Nigga, you found me." All right, man, that's my cue to go. that's my cue to go, nigga. If you fouled him and he mad about it, you know, somebody be like, "Yeah, that's my fault," or what have you.
White man can't jump. I'm going to my car. Get my other gun. Come back.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
I'm about to kill everybody's ass up in here.
Do you remember how that playground cleared out?
Clear like a mother. But the thing about it, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying? But it was some dope shit that happened. It's just that, you know, you got to know that when the sense of danger, get the fuck on. Like if you're in a Serengeti and a lion, you know,
you don't stick around.
You don't stick around.
And the city is full of lions. And unfortunately, it's those few lions in the city that choose to prey on people. You know, not the king. I'm not talking about the king in the jungle. And I take that back. I reserve that. They're not even the lions. They're more like hyenas.
High motherfucking hyenas. They do damage and they fucking
they run in packs because they cowards.
They cowards
they
and
fucking
shit, you know
whack jokers with that whack ass laugh. All right, man, let's get ready to get out of here, man, because we'll never stop.
Right.
We'll be back at it tomorrow, y'all, man. So, this was the pilot of the Loco Show, man. But guess what, man?
That shit is crazy.
Man, shun. Word to my shout out to them New York boys.
Like I said, we appreciate y'all dropping by and at rock out with us. And we out.
Get the Philly. Need some Philly time in my life.
It's crazy, son.
It's crazy.